Hey guys, what's going on? It's Andrew here. So, let's go over a few helpful tips of how to turn this kit into something that's going to sound a little bit better. Now, you'll notice this is a little GP kit, a 10-inch snare drum, 10-inch rack tom, 12-inch floor tom, and a 16-inch bass drum, 14-inch pair of generic white hi-hats, 16-inch crash cymbal, 12-inch GP splash that I'm using as a, crash that I'm using as a splash. This is the only good cymbal I'd consider on the kit, even though I'm not a fan of it at all. A Zildjian A Custom 18-inch fast crash with a large crack right here. There's a big crack in it. But as a crash ride, it's not... But when you really hit it, you can hear it. A trash stack made out of a 13-inch and a 16-inch brass cymbal. And a pair of 8-inch GP brass hi-hats that have been dented to heck, but they don't sound bad as mini hats, like when you're... Okay, so let's say you've got the kit how it is, the way you're wanting it. Now, I will confess that there are actually decent heads on this kit. There's a G1 coated Evans on snare, G1 clear on the rack tom, EC2 clear on the floor tom. Well, it's actually a 12-inch rack tom from a very cheap drum set that I'm suspending from a snare drum stand for the set. Actually doesn't sound that bad at all. And on the bass drum, which is 16-inch, there's an older Evans G2 clear. But like I said, these three drums, this pair of hats, this crash, that splash, these two, and these two cost me $30. Now it included this hi-hat stand, which is just off camera over there, this crash cymbal stand, which is just off camera, this little rod that's holding up this cymbal on the bass drum, and this broken hi-hat stand that I took the pedal off of it. Now it's just being used as an aux hat stand. But I already had that pearl stand holding up this stack, and this plain El Cheapo boom stand. And of course, Vic Firth 5A nylon to complete the whole thing. But anyway, let's say it's ringing too much. Especially, let's say I absolutely hate the ringing of this 10-inch tom. Like... It's not great. It has too much overtone to it. That's where this little baby comes in. This is just your average piece of duct tape with a small square. I have a spare one here that I'm going to explain here. A square like this that fits into here. And then you usually want to put that. The logo of the head is right here. So we're going to put that on the opposite, which is this lug right here, on the very edge of the drum. Why you don't want to put it in the center, I'll explain in a second. But here, you heard it before, here it is after. Turn the snares off. Alright, let's keep going. Let's say the floor tom is ringing too much. Even though there is a little piece of gaff tape right here on it, it still doesn't have enough muffling to it. So let's enter in the second piece of duct tape with the square on the bottom. So let's just put that baby right there. Here's both palms. A 10. There's a 12. And let's say you just saw me reach my hand under there. I'm going to control the resonance by putting a piece on the bottom. But instead of putting it on the edge, I'm actually going to put it more toward the middle to really tame the ring. So you might be asking yourself, well, why would I ever want to do this? Well, let's say you're in a gig or a studio situation where time is at a premium and you don't have time to retune your entire drum set. So what you do is just add or subtract pieces of duct tape in a very specific pattern. So, like I said, here's the 10, here's the 12. Great sound. Alright, let's focus on the snare drum now. Now the snare drum, you can get away with a lot. Even a small 5x10 like this. Let me put the throw off back on, and I'll play you a groove here. As you can hear, if your drum key doesn't fall on your snare, it's very tight, it's very focused, but it's also very ringy. So one tip I would say, and this is not a tape, this is using a drum key method, is take each lug down, especially if you're playing micro snares like this, down 1/2 turn on each lug. In this case, this is a 6-lug drum. So 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, what I would also do, loosen the snares down a little bit to compensate for that extra. Go around each lug to make sure it's in tune. Now, what the great thing is, you don't have to use the square method. I'll demonstrate both. This is just with the piece of duct tape on its own. Like I said, opposite side of the head of the logo. Let's put the drum key right here. And let's see. With it and without. So you can see it's taming the overtones. Now what you do, take your square inside of your tape, and it should absorb the impact. Now let's say you have a cymbal you don't particularly care for, like this A Custom 18-inch Fast Crash. You're saying, I like the sound of it, but it rings too long. Couple pieces of tape. Now, you guys are going to think I'm weird for saying this, but take your cymbal, flip it over. Here, you can definitely see crack damage right there going through the Zildjian logo. And what I do is I'll take 4 little pieces of duct tape. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bottom of the cymbal in a semi-square, kind of like this, so you still don't have anything on top. There, you can see the crack. So you have it in a semi-square, and then when you put it back on the stand, I'm going to say this now, tune to taste, but... So basically, there you go. Now you can apply these taping methods to your hats, your crash, your stack, your China cymbal, your splash, your pair of auxiliary hats, whatever you have available. Experiment a little bit, and always forget, and always don't forget, a drum key is one of your most valuable tools. That's peace, love, and rock and roll. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.